Welcome to Game of Roses. It's just me now. Pace Case is on her maternity leave, and I'm going to be helming the pit for the next, we don't know how long, months at this point, I would guess. So settle in and get ready for my first solo Digging Deeper. We have some incredible clips for you in today's affair. We have some clips from a podcast called A Lot More. This is, of course, Warner Brothers, kind of recently launched official studio podcast where they send people from their various television shows to go be interviewed when the show's on the air or when they get kicked off of like a Bachelor type show. That is a Warner Brothers show. Most people think it's ABC because it's broadcast on ABC and Hulu, but Warner Brothers, the studio, owns the material. So they are interviewing Peg and Mel, and we have some clips of them talking about their experiences. We also have a bunch of clips from Dear Shandy, where they were talking to Alex and Andrew from Paradise, and we're going to get a bunch of tea and kind of back behind the scenes type info about how BIP was for them. And I believe, we have one more. There's a bunch of Dear Shandy, and then we have a podcast a clip from a podcast called The Dream, and it's a podcast that's kind of loosely focused on the American dream. And we have a Big Brother producer at the very end of this talking about the horrible ways producers punish people in that franchise. So I hope you're having a good holiday. If you're listening to this on Monday, Thanksgiving just occurred. I hope everybody out there had a great one. And now let's begin digging deeper with our first clip. Again, this is from A Lot More, that official Warner Brothers podcast. This is from November 21st. And in this episode, we had Mel Owens and Peg Munson, of course, season 2 Bachelor and his ring winner. And in this clip, Peg is giving a couple of anecdotes about her mom's love of the Bachelor franchise. Here we go.
Am I correct in saying that your mum is a big fan as well?
My mom
because she said in the series, she was like, oh, I'm so excited.
82 years old, and she has never missed one. Not one. You guys, right? It was so funny because as we walked out, was it when we were walking out or walking in?
Where?
They always play music, because she's in hometowns. Mm-hmm. Where's the music? Where's the music? She couldn't understand why there was no music playing.
Yeah.
She just could not understand that, Wow.
Yeah, she must be proud as punch right now. I could imagine.
I was in Target. She was in Target in Vegas, and she was shopping for my birthday in June. And she bought me some things. And then I went to the show, got casted, and it was the ABC shoot. And one of the gals that were dressing me for the shoot says, oh, my girlfriend in Vegas met your mom. I go, excuse me? She goes, yeah, she was at Target and she was shopping and she was telling everybody in the store that her daughter's on The Golden Bachelor.
That's hilarious and wild. I don't know how old Peg's mom is, but assuming she's older than Peg, she's got to be at least in her 70s, maybe 80s, maybe 90s. I don't know. But the idea that Peg's mom didn't understand that music doesn't play when people are just walking around and they're shooting The Bachelor, that's something that's added in the edit later, is not giving me hope, actually, for the idea that anyone knows how these reality shows are actually made. But a very cute moment, nonetheless. I also love that Peg's mom is just in Target screaming about how her daughter's on The Golden Bachelor. That is something that most families are told not to do when their child or friends or anybody that when you go into these reality shows. You're supposed to tell them, your close friends and family, to not say anything and not post anything about it on social media because they don't want it spoiled that you're in the show or what the outcome of the show might potentially be. But a funny moment. I'm also curious, if I may, come with me on this journey. I mean, just indulge me while I go on this journey is really what I mean. Who is this guy that's hosting this podcast? Okay, A Lot More podcasts. Jonathan Buckley. Ooh, Wells Adams was on it. That may be an interesting episode. Or it may not be. This does seem like a very company style podcast. Let's look up this guy, Jonathan Buckley. He sounds Australian. Jonathan Buckley is a host, actor, and voice artist originally from the island of Tasmania, Australia, now based in Los Angeles. Jonathan Buckley on that old Instagram has 1,639 followers. Okay. Let's see if he's in anything. Like, I don't get it. What's he in? Known for Mayans MC, the TV series. Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I guess he was a voice in that. Siberia. I don't know what any of this shit is. Oh, he's in High Potential as a bomb squad expert, so I'm guessing that's not a recurring role. He's in some short called Not All Men. Oh, God. Death Stranding 2, that's a video game, so he was voicing that. He was in a short. Nothing of note. I'm very curious how this guy got this job to be the host of the official Warner Brothers podcast. This is basically like a Bachelor happy hour, but for all Warner Brothers shows. So I don't think we're going to get any hard-hitting journalism coming out of this podcast. This podcast is meant to be obviously a promotional tool for all Warner Brothers stuff, including Bachelor here. But I'm just curious about Jonathan Buckley. How did this guy get this job? That's so bizarre to me. He's got a lot of headshots. A graduate of the University of the Performing Arts in Tasmania, Jonathan began his career. Let me see if I can get more information here. Jonathan began his career in Australian radio, hosting across multiple markets before becoming an on-air personality for Melbourne's top-rated hit music station, Nova 100. Okay, so he's he joined iHeartRadio's KOST 103.5 in Los Angeles when he moved here and expanded in television hosting. His on-camera work includes NBC's summer primetime series Siberia, Lifetime's reality dating show, Love for Sale. All right. I don't know this guy. Let's move on. Clip number 2 comes to us from this same podcast. Jonathan Buckley is going to be giving us some more hard-hitting questions from Mel Owens and Peg Munson. In this clip, after comparing his approach to a lawyer, Jonathan Buckley asks if it backfired after everyone said that he was too reserved and not giving enough. Talking about Mel. Here we go.
Did that affect you, though, maybe slightly negatively in the series by not being more open? Like, some of the ladies were like, you're very reserved. To that point, like, did you feel like you needed to offer up more to some of the ladies in conversation?
I told the people that were casting me that I'm a great listener and I observe.
Yeah.
And that's the way you can tell a lot about a person is by watching him and listening to him. They had time, the women had time to investigate me and Google me before I came on. I didn't know anything about them. So when I came on the show, it's all about listening.
Yes.
And watching them and understanding them. I wasn't going to talk over them. And, I'm asking, listening to them about themselves, not about me. Mm-hmm. Oh. And so that's why I approached it. And I only had to get one great gal, and I got the one great gal.
Did you do some Googling before you came on?
I knew everything about him.
She knew more about me. How do you know?
You know about you. I knew where he lived. Yeah. I knew his address. I knew how much he made. I knew what his retirement was. I knew what schools his kids were going to. Everything. Everything.
So if I always say know your personnel, because then she knew. Yeah. So all the women had a chance to know who I was. I didn't know about them. So I was going to be a listener and observe.
Smart. That's the way to go. Yeah. Definitely.
Because remember, I'm trying to find one.
Yeah.
And I got to listen. And I'm not going to go on and on about myself. I want to know about you.
Oh my God. I mean, I don't disagree, I guess, with what he's saying here. Obviously, if you're trying to build a relationship with somebody, you got to listen to them. You got to know what they're trying to say. But you're the lead of a reality TV show. Like, how does that guy get cast when they're like, so what are some of your attributes that you think would make you a great lead for The Golden Bachelor? Well, I'm a very good listener. I'm just going to sit there and not say anything the whole time. I'm just going to listen my ass off. So much so that it may even look like I'm sleeping with my eyes open. Watching him in this interview is once again making me want to go to sleep, because even hearing him talk about, I'm a good listener, and that's what I wanted to do, is be a good listener. They knew everything about me. I didn't have to say anything. So is his line of logic there basically like they were able to Google him? So he had no responsibility to relay any information to them about himself, about his life, about his emotions, about his psychological state. Just not a great lead, as we know. But even the strategy is insane to me, because it's like when you're on this reality show, and I get what he's saying. I'm just, he's busy looking for the love of his life or whatever. But it's like, we might not have Googled you. Everybody watching the show hasn't Googled you. Can you tell us those things? Or do we have to intuit it for ourselves? Just a very bad player. And now even bad in this kind of post-game interview. I'm much more curious, though, about this guy again, Jonathan Buckley, because is he now going to get Bachelor players coming off? Like, is he going to get Taylor Frankie Paul? I doubt it, right? This almost seems like it's a kind of dismissive type thing that they sent the Golden Bachelor and his ring winner to Jonathan Buckley. Like, Call Her Daddy wasn't going to interview them because nobody watched the show because Mel Owens is so bad at it. I'm curious if he's kind of just like the, who else has he interviewed? Hang on just a second. Let's go down this road, if you don't mind. What is this podcast called? It's All Too Much. A Lot More it's called. Hang on a minute. Let's see who else Jonathan Buckley has interviewed. Here it is. A Lot More, Warner Brothers Television Group. The logo for this is not even Jonathan Buckley's face. It is simply the Warner Brothers water tower, on which comes from their lot. So we got Welcome to Derry's Steven Ryder. That is a show that's on HBO Max right now. It's like I believe it's a prequel to It, or it takes place in the town of It, and it's kind of about the clown and the kids that he's fucking with. We've got the Mel Owens, Peg Munson. We've got two other actors from Derry's Welcome to Derry. We've got with Harry Potter, Wizards of Baking's James and Oliver Phelps. We have got Gilmore Girls, Scott Patterson. So that's interesting. Gilmore Girls. I don't think there's a new Gilmore Girls, so that's got to be just like whatever. Dust it off. We've got Montana Jordan and Emily Osment from George and Mandy's First Marriage. We've got Peacemaker's Steve Agee. We've got Composing Aztec Batman. A Lot More with Ego Plum. Is that all? Nope. This goes back. August 22nd was the first episode, and it was with Wells Adams, Bachelor in Paradise, bartender. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about this podcast. Interesting, though. Congrats to Peg Munson for getting a little more screen time. Let's move on to clip number 3, shall we? We are now entering the Dear Shandy phase of this program. This is from their November 27th episode. The guests were Alex Godden and Andrew Spencer. And in this first clip, they are asked, or Andrew Spencer is asked why he didn't take Alex on a date initially. And Andrew claims he was really all eggs, but wanted to try something different this time on BIP. Here we go.
On a date, what would you say your first impression is like, and versus now? Has it changed at all?
Well, I was all in on Alex. I really was. And I told you this a million times.
Of course you would say.
My thing was, I did that the first time I was in Paradise, where I went for the girl that I wanted to go for, and I didn't put all my eggs in one basket there. So I was just like, okay, let me go put one egg in this basket and see how it is. The next morning, beeline for her. I was like, I want to put all my eggs in this basket. I just had to see if there was something else out here for me other than Alex.
The basket was already gone. I was like, it's too late. I'm already.
She was like, I'm gone. I want you. I was like, listen, like, there's so many reasons to why, like, I couldn't do it. And like, I'm telling you, it took me like 30, 40 minutes, and they were like getting pissed. They're like, you have to pick someone to go on a date. It's like, oh my God, I don't know which one. I can't do it. Because I'm like, in my head, I'm like trying to play this strategically.
Yeah.
So I don't look a fool like I did last time.
Very interesting intel coming there. So he's essentially talking about strategy over feelings here. And as we constantly are saying on this program, it's both. If you genuinely like somebody, if you want to win a ring or give a ring, or in this case, start seriously dating somebody, pursue somebody romantically that you're going to meet on Paradise, you have to get to the end of that game with them, or at least you have to get as much time out of the game with them as you can. And he's saying the first time he went through it, he all eggs. We know that ended in absolute unmitigated disaster. And here he's saying, like, I was actually all eggs with Alex Godden. However, I knew strategically the producers would fuck me over if I would maintain that all egg status with her. So I put a little egg over here and a little egg over here, ultimately just to kind of throw off the producers, I think, because if they know that you're all eggsing for somebody and you're not kind of pre-designated a protected A couple, they will annihilate you. They will bring in a heat-seeking missile to take the person you're all eggsing, or at least attempt to. They may have you get in a fight. Who knows? So it's interesting to hear him say that. It's an open gameplay admission, obviously, but it also kind of like, I think, and this is something that we talk about and kind of theorize about, but here he's giving, I believe, concrete proof that when you're in a paradise scenario, you cannot simply start dating somebody or pursue a romantic connection. You have to think about this secondary component of it, which is, if I start dating them, if I all eggs them, if I make that play, what are the producers going to do? Colton Underwood famously talked about this as well. I believe his first choice was, I want to say at the time it was Hannah Godwin, but he lied to the producers and said he wanted to go on a date with somebody else, knowing that if he said she's my first choice, they would never put him on a date with her. So it's this third audience game that is constantly coming into play when these players are talking about, oh, well, I did all eggs this person, but not really, like not on the surface. Fascinating. More wood on the fire, I suppose, of us discovering what this show actually is. Thank you for your service, Andrew. Let's move on to the next clip. This is also from Dear Shandy. And this one is Andrew claiming that he and Alex had a good edit because she was always talking to the crew, making deals essentially, or at least building rapport with the third audience. Here we go.
The biggest thing, and also one thing I really fell in love with about her was she always talked to every single person that was there that was not on the show. So it was the camera people,
Sebastian,
or
the mic guy,
like the mic people, and I was just
nice.
like, that's the kind of people like I want.
Yeah, it really
be.
speaks to a
Thank you.
person.
Exactly. So I think that also plays,
Canadian.
like, I'm very the same way
Yeah.
when it comes to like talking to people,
Yeah.
and I feel like the producers are like, I can't ever edit these people bad. I mean, they're just always so friendly.
Nice.
So at the same time, you're just like, I don't know, if you talk to people, everyone, take care of those who take care of you.
Can I also just say that that's the most modest answer ever?
Oh, yeah.
He's basically saying, like, I looked good just because I had friends in the right places. But maybe you are just maybe you're just good, Andrew.
I just was like, hey, they're looking out for us.
Yeah. No, I learned Spanish because every morning I would.
Oh my God,
I would
she's
order
talking-
in Espanol.
She was everyone's favorite.
To
Like,
Wendy.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't everyone's favorite, but I would try to make my,
It's a very
best-
Canadian response
very
to that.
response, but make an effort to talk in Spanish. Yeah, in
Yeah.
order. So
Wow. She learned another language in order to manipulate the crew. Brilliant, of course. And I think just generally in life, this is a good strategy. I remember when I was going through cancer treatment, I kind of employed this. I would try to make all the doctors and nurses and radiologists and whoever I was dealing with on any given day, I would try to make them laugh always so that they would kind of remember me and like, oh, he's kind of fun to be around, because I imagine the cancer treatment place is kind of like a hellish thing to have to go to every day, and that's your job. So I was like, if I can lighten it up a little bit, maybe they won't treat me as poorly. And I think maybe that was true. I'm not sure. Who knows? But in a situation like Bachelor in Paradise, where your entire fate is determined by the edit, by how these players or how these producers are not only going to treat you in the context of the game and, what actions they might manipulate you into performing, but also in that final edit. And so, like she's saying, Alex is saying she was talking to the sound people and whatever. You're not going to be able to talk to the editors, but you are talking to the producers and the people they're working with, who are the production crew. And if you're nice to all of them, I think they're accurate in their estimation that you're more likely to get a favorable edit and a favorable treatment if you're nice to them. However, that's not always the case. That much I can say. It's not always the case. You can sometimes be very nice to them and it doesn't matter. If they have kind of pre-written what type of a character you're going to be, what the outcome for your character's narrative will be over the course of any given season, sometimes there is literally nothing you can do to alter that. And I don't think the producers feel bad about just completely destroying somebody if that's what's already kind of prearranged. But that is a strong baseline third audience strategy. And it also, I know they're talking about it in terms of kind of just a humanistic quality that Andrew looks for, is like somebody who's nice to the people that are working on the show or whatever, bringing your food or whatever. I get that. You want a person who is kind in that way, or at least considerate to people around you. All that said, this is a hardcore open gameplay speech third audience play. It is you attempting to manipulate the production crew, which includes producers, includes the sound guy, includes the camera people, whatever. but there is like a manipulative intent, I believe, at least on the producer's side when you're aiming it toward them. And it worked for them. You know, they did get a favorable edit. They are correct in that. And so it's hard to begrudge them that type of a strategy. All right, let's move on. This is clip number 5. Now, in this one, Andrew and Alex are discussing BIP's money prize and the strategy of taking the money afterwards and the date. And I'm told in my notes here that Andrew may do a BachelorClues impression during this clip. I'm very curious to see what that is. Here we go. If you want to see this clip and see if Andrew Spencer does in fact do an impersonation of me, all you got to do is go to patreon.com/Game of Roses. Join us in the bottom of the pit. You're going to get access to the rest of this Digging Deeper, all the other Digging Deepers we've ever done. Casa Gore, where I am now finishing up Secret Lives of Mormon Wives season 3 all by my lonesome. So please come join me there. Give me some company. You're going to get all the Clues Corners, the Pace Case Palapas, access to our Discord, ad-free episodes of everything we do. And by the way, in that Discord, you can submit your screams from the pit. We play the best ones out of that channel on This Week in Bachelor Nation. Hope you'll indulge that as well. But yeah, please, especially if you want to hear this Clues impression, which I'm curious to hear myself, join us in the bottom of the pit.
Please rate this podcast. Please review this podcast. Please get a friend to listen to us. And then please rate this podcast. Please review this podcast.